All right. Well, hello and welcome to everyone joining us live today for Streams Engage and Elevate webinar. And a big thank you to those tuning in to this recording later. I'm Kenzie Wilson, the Field and Event Marketing Manager at Stream. And for those who are unfamiliar, Stream helps developers launch apps faster with modern SDKs, providing all the essential building blocks needed to create reliable and performant real-time communication experiences. We work with companies like Strava, Nextdoor, and SoundCloud to provide live communication solutions that are redefining the industry. And today, I'm thrilled to introduce Vishwa Shroff, a seasoned leader in product management and analytics, known for her transformative impact on revenue growth and product strategy in the tech industry. She has a strong track record that has led development of key products from inception to launch. Her expertise spans defining product vision, enhancing user experience through GenAI-powered features, and driving digital transformation that elevates customer and partner satisfaction. So please join me in welcoming her today.
Thank you for having me, Kenzie.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like, it doesn't matter what industry, what job title you have, AI is what everyone's talking about right now. So I'm so excited to be having this webinar today. And I'd like to just start off with you giving us, a little overview and describing the impact of AI on the field of product management.
Absolutely, and I'm so happy to be here. So AI, as you know, is significantly transforming product management by enhancing decision-making processes, streamlining workflows, and enabling more data-driven strategies. If you go on LinkedIn today, I guarantee you most of the posts that you're going to see is around AI, and there is a reason for that. It's revolutionizing how product managers analyze user behavior, predict market trends, and personalize user experience, right? So AI tools are automating routine tasks, allowing product managers to focus on more strategic aspects of product and their role. And in addition to that, AI is also enabling more accurate and real-time insights into product performance, customer needs, market opportunities, leading to faster and more informed product decisions.
Yeah, for sure. I use AI daily, and I feel like almost everyone does at this point, and it just makes things, like you said, more productive, faster. It's just a lot easier to get, where you're trying to go. So in your view, what are the most exciting applications of AI that are reshaping product management today?
Oh, wow, that's a loaded question. And where do I begin? I think some of the most exciting applications of AI reshaping product management would be, I think the number one for me would be the predictive analytics for anticipating user needs and market trends, because that's where it really starts. And also like AI-powered customer segmentation and personalization that's possible. Also, you can automate user feedback analysis and sentiment tracking using AI. So all of those are awesome. And then for product management specifically, there is AI-assisted product roadmap optimization that is also now enabled. Then there is AI-driven A/B testing, feature optimization, AI-enhanced data visualization for better decision-making, and so on and so forth. I think there's just a lot of applications that are in place already.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy because not only are all these product managers using AI in their everyday life, but some of them are building AI as a product at the same time. So when considering AI as a standalone product, what are some of the unique challenges that those product managers are going to face?
That's a great question, Kenzie, because product managers dealing with AI as a standalone product face several unique challenges. I think some of them would be explaining complex AI capabilities to stakeholders that might be non-technical, or even users that might not be as well acquainted with AI already. All right. It could also be managing user expectations around AI performance and the limitations that come with implementations of AI in current state. Of course, one of the less spoken but extremely important piece is ensuring data privacy and ethical use of AI. I see that a lot of companies are looking at that now, and I see product managers at the forefront trying to understand and deal with those challenges and complexities as well. There is also dealing with the black box nature of some of the AI algorithms. That could be another challenge that product managers would have to face. And of course, things like model training, improvement, potential biases in the AI outputs that would impact product managers' decision making. So all those things are, I mean, I could go on and on about this, but these are some of the top challenges I think that a product manager would face.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like anytime AI is brought up, the whole ethical kind of question is also brought up, as you mentioned. So what are some of the strategies for those product managers that they can use to navigate the ethical, technical, and even user-centric concerns associated with AI products?
Absolutely, Kenzie. So I don't think there is a one-all be-all answer to a question like that, because it really depends on the situation or the product at hand, really. But in order to navigate ethical, technical, user-centric concerns associated with AI products, product managers can implement transparent AI practices and clearly communicate how AI is used and will be used, or what's the plan around that. Also, conducting regular ethical audits or bias testing of the AI models is good, and a good idea to implement. In addition to this, I think prioritizing user privacy and data protection in AI product design is important, and also developing clear guidelines for responsible AI use within the organization. So I know large organizations do have some of these in place, but probably not for small or medium-sized organizations. And I think product management is such a critical role that they do need to put through these ethical, strategies in place.
Yeah, for sure. There was definitely, as soon as, ChatGPT and everything came out, it felt like kind of a scramble, like what you can use it for, what you can't use it for. It's learning, but it has the biases and all of that kind of stuff. So it's definitely important to still check the robot every now and then. But could you share some examples of AI tools or technology that the product managers could be leveraging to just streamline their workflows and decision making, maybe that you've used in previous roles that was really successful?
That's a great segue into understanding what AI tools are the latest and the greatest, and what can actually be used, right? How do you actually use AI as an individual or a product manager? I am actually very passionate about this particular space. So I think everybody knows about ChatGPT, right? That's like a household name in AI at this point. I think one of the lesser knowns, which is quickly gaining popularity here, is Perplexity. It's personally my favorite, and I love that. And I use Perplexity Pro because I think you can pick the model when you use Perplexity Pro. I think for most users, it's about which format or layout or experience you like the most. Like, is it ChatGPT, it's Gemini or Perplexity, and what you're used to. What I really like about Perplexity, or even actually ChatGPT and OpenAI, is their user experience is very easy to consume. At the same time, for Perplexity, personally, I think you can pick the model you want to use. So if you want to use GPT, you can. If you want to use their home-based Perplexity model, you can. You can use Claude. There's just so many options to pick from. So I really like that. That is a one place where you can go and use all of that for brainstorming, content creation. I also like Canva. So Canva AI is awesome for image generation. So I think image generation is still developing and getting there. I think OpenAI launched Sora, which is getting there. I really like Canva for image generation and things like that. For product managers, I think Product Board is very good for AI-driven road mapping and feature prioritization and everything in between. Of course, I love Pendo. So if you folks have not used Pendo, Pendo is awesome for AI-powered user analytics and in-app messaging. So highly recommend that one as well. And then for all the calls that we are on the meetings and transcripts and everything beyond that, I know Zoom has the AI companion, but I really like Otter AI as well. So Otter AI is actually supported by Google Meet as well. So it transcends over what comms tool you might be using, like whether it be Google Meet, Zoom, and so on and so forth. So I really like that one as well.
Yeah, it's so nice to be able to, you can take notes, but then you're like looking at your note, but like, what was said before that though? What happened before that? So that's always so nice. And I use Canva AI almost daily. It is amazing. Like I'm like, can you just change the colors just a little bit? Boom, it's done. It's perfect for sure. But that's awesome. And so what advice would you give to product managers looking to integrate these AI tools into their daily routines for increased productivity? I know sometimes, there's so much, it's hard to like get it all down and into your routine. So what advice do you have for those sorts of things?
Yeah, again, a great question, Kenzie. I think one of the tools I missed mentioning for productivity is also Notion AI. So when we talk about productivity, and this goes beyond the PM role, if you will, and can be used by anybody. Some people use it for personal productivity purposes, but Notion AI is awesome for that. For product managers looking to integrate AI tools in their daily routines, I recommend starting small and focusing on one or two tools that address your biggest pain points. So take one use case or two use cases and then figure out what tool works best for you for that. And I would invest some time front loaded um, in learning and mastering those tools to really, acclimate yourself on how does that product work really. Um, and then I would go about experimenting with other different AI tools to find your best fit for that workflow that you might be trying to solve for, or that use case you might be trying to solve for. And then I would advise everyone to, stay apprised of the latest and the greatest in terms of the new AI tools and features in your field. And of course, if you're in a work environment, it's a great idea to also collaborate with your team members to see what are they using for their best practices. That's how I've picked up some of the tools that I use today, and use that as your learning, right? While you're doing all of that, please be mindful of the data privacy and the security, especially if you're in an organization, on what you are allowed or what you're not allowed to use for AI tools. But outside of work, I would go and experiment and learn and acclimate myself to new AI tools by setting clear goals and starting small in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Baby steps when it comes to
Mhm.
AI. And one thing I've noticed about, product management is there's so many like Facebook groups and Slack groups and like LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. So there's so many places where you can find kind of the latest and greatest and get inspiration from other companies and product managers on how they're using those tools. But like you said, always important to make sure you're not breaking any rules or regulations before. And so AI can be used to increase productivity, but you also kind of mentioned how it can be used for analytics. So how can product managers utilize AI to define more accurate or predictive KPIs for their products?
I think we have to understand that AI is here to complement or supplement what you might already be doing, not here to replace our human brains, really. It's supposed to complement and improve what we are already doing, right? So product managers can utilize AI to define more accurate and predictive KPIs using AI by leveraging machine learning algorithms to identify complex patterns in user behaviors and product performance data. What I mean by that is previously, obviously, we have had the role of data scientists doing all of these complex pattern matching and understanding what user behavior is. Guess what? With AI in place, that is happening very quickly. And you can do that at your fingertips without relying on teams helping you and supporting you to do that. That doesn't make it easy though. It just makes it faster. So we just have to realize that and always be wary of ensuring that the accuracy or the insights that we're looking for is still there. Okay. Using predictive analytics to forecast future trends and potential outcomes is another way to utilize AI. And then implementing AI-powered anomaly detection to identify issues before they become significant problems. So I think this one is a big one. Anomaly detection, like being able to predict something that might be happening before it is happening, is the way to prevent it, right? It's like preventative medicine. With AI in place, PMs can really actually implement that and put it in practice, if you will. You can also use AI to automate data collection and analysis, ensuring more real-time and accurate KPI tracking. So this goes back to, it's faster now. It's more close to real time or almost real time because of AI, which was not possible in the past. Also leveraging AI to identify correlations between different metrics, leading to more insightful KPIs. I think that one is a big one as well. And utilizing AI to also create dynamic KPIs that adapt based on changing market conditions and user behavior. So this again goes back to the predictive nature of AI. We are able to predict trends before they actually come about and also understand at what pace it's going to happen. And that is going to increase our accuracy and predictive nature of how the KPIs have been measured in the past.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many ways. And I really liked what you said about how it kind of connects the dots. If one thing isn't working, it's like, well, why? With AI, it's kind of be like, well, it could be because this or something like this, rather than, just having kind of to shoot in the dark. And so what are some innovative ways that AI is helping product teams measure and analyze product success beyond the traditional metrics?
Absolutely, Kenzie. So I think I really liked what you mentioned, and that's anomaly detection. I think in the past, before AI came about and became mainstream, it was really, really hard to predict and put together anomaly detection. I know there have been several companies that have tried that, like there's an industry pillar that has tried to achieve that goal, but now it is actually possible with AI in place. So that's amazing. And I want to lead with that. I think that's really where innovation comes about. So the sentiment analysis of user feedback across multiple channels is really been enabled using AI, and that's really innovative and in place now. Also, predictive churn models to identify at-risk users before they leave. So again, this is pattern detection, anomaly detection, and everything in between. Also, AI-powered user journey mapping to understand more complex user behavior. So we are no longer talking about one use case, two use case, three use cases, and solving for that. We are talking about solving for complex user behaviors that might be intertwined between several use cases. And that's AI-powered. Also, automated competitive analysis using web scraping and natural language processing, as well as real-time personalization impact measurement. So providing real-time personalization is one thing, but then being able to measure the impact of that real-time is another. And I think AI has really helped innovate in that space and enabled that. We already touched on the automated anomaly detection in user behavior and product performance. So I just wanted to call that out one more time. And then AI-powered attribution modeling for better understanding of marketing impact. So what channels are actually working and how can we invest in that or not invest in that? That has really been enabled through that. And also automated user persona generation and evolution tracking. So understanding what personas are the most important and understanding the complex user behaviors, but also seeing how they are evolving. This has really been, innovated as a result of the AI powered tools that we're using now.
Yeah, for sure. There's just so many things that it now can do. And like you said, in real time, it's not, we have to wait for our analytics meeting every second Friday of the month or something, and then we'll know what's going on. It's like, no, right now, this is broken and we need to fix it. And it's great. And like you said, every user is kind of different. And so being able to have AI create those personas, so you kind of get a little bit better idea who's using what product, what's important to them, I feel like would be so amazing and crucial kind of in product managers' positions. I just want to pause here and just let everyone know who has joined us live that there is a Q&A feature available for this webinar. So if you have any questions as we continue along, feel free to drop them in there. And Vishwa will have a chance to answer them as we wrap up. So how has your background in analytics and business intelligence influenced kind of your approach to using AI for measuring these product successes?
Again, this is a very, very broad topic and something I'm very passionate about because that's where I started my career really after my MBA. You would not believe my first role as an analyst, I was manually sourcing data from I don't know how many different sources, putting it into an Excel file, a spreadsheet, and trying to make sense out of it. So I think that's where I began, and it was not easy. Obviously, then there was the days of SQL and everything that followed with that. With AI, it has been completely game changing. Like you mentioned, real time is really, really actually possible now. So as I have extensive background in analytics and BI, it influences using AI for measuring product success in so many different ways. Okay. So first is emphasizing data quality and integrity in AI models. So I keep mentioning the legal, ethical pieces of AI, and that very much comes into picture for analytics and BI, absolutely. And I want to emphasize on the data quality as well on that. And then also focusing on actionable insights rather than just data collection. I think there was a lot of effort previously spent in absence of these AI tools and AI-powered tools on data collection. Now that is no longer an issue. So we can actually really focus on actionable insights. And that is very much human driven, even though AI is super intelligent. Ultimately, humans have to analyze and review the insights that have been generated through AI. And then also understanding the importance of context and interpreting these AI generated insights. So this is where humans actually come into picture. And then balancing quantitative AI driven insights with qualitative user feedback. So more emphasis on voice of seller, voice of customer kind of initiatives where you do collect qualitative user feedback and being able to tie that with what quantitative AI driven metrics are being produced. And then leveraging AI to create more comprehensive interconnected KPI frameworks. So there is a lot more on this, but I'm obviously very passionate about AI, how AI has completely disrupted the analytics and BI and how things work there. But it is important to ensure that we're continuously validating AI models against the real world outcomes to actually use those insights.
Yeah, for sure. That was one thing I feel like I learned very early in my career when I was asked like to pull social metrics or something like that. And I'd pull everything. It's like, okay, but what does that mean? Or what are you going to use to, actually make changes in the strategy and things like that? So it's so important to kind of have like a little bit of a narrower view and have actual insights that you can take from that data. And so, what are the key differences in setting KPIs for AI driven products versus traditional non-AI products?
That's a tough one, Kenzie. So I think the underlying question around how do you set KPIs should not fundamentally change. That should very much be based on your business model or your product that you might be driving. However, there are some key differences in setting KPIs for AI-driven products versus traditional products. First is there should be a focus on the model accuracy and performance metrics, so precision, recall, F1 score, and things like that. And then there should be an emphasis on continuous learning and improvements of AI models. So I think there is some investment in terms of time and learning that needs to be done on how can we continuously improve and learn these AI models and how can we better them over time. There is also the inclusion of ethical considerations and bias metrics when using and setting KPIs for AI-driven products, obviously. And then there is greater emphasis on data quality and quantity KPIs. So data quality becomes like an underlying theme that needs to be continuously looked at when we talk about AI-driven products and setting KPIs for them. And then need for KPIs that measure AI's decision-making process transparency is also important. In all of this, we also want to ensure that there is inclusion of user trust and adoption metrics specific to AI features, right? So user trust is super important, as you can imagine. Whether, no matter what product you have, whether it is AI driven, traditional products and things like that. So let's not lose sight for that when setting KPIs. And then, KPIs for measuring the AI's adaptability to changing conditions or user needs is also important.
Yeah, and I really like what you said, how, just because we have AI now doesn't mean the whole world is different. Like, you're still setting KPIs the same way, and just kind of AI is a helper kind of in this situation, not necessarily changing your whole process and the way you think and all that kind of stuff. And so given your experience with strategic initiatives when you were with ServiceNow, how do you approach setting KPIs for AI-driven products? I know you kind of said it's the same, but if there are any differences, what would those be?
Yeah, I think many of the fundamentals will remain the same. But a typical approach to setting KPIs for AI-driven products based on strategic initiatives and analytics experience might include, number one, aligning AI product KPIs to the overall business objectives. So what are the desired business outcomes, whether be it for the company, for the industry, for the technology or the product, making sure that you're aligning those AI product KPIs to those overall business objectives or business outcomes is super important. I think for traditional products as well, this was the case. And I do not think it should be different, except for the fact that it's going to be AI product KPIs. Second would be establishing baseline performance metrics before AI implementation. So that's super important. Setting baselines, where do we start? And then setting both technical KPIs, so model accuracy as well as business impact KPIs. So now you have two sides of the coin. You are not only measuring the business impact KPIs, which you traditionally would, but I would also set up technical KPIs, such as model accuracy and others. Also implementing A/B testing to measure incremental impact of AI features is important. So I would do that. And then creating KPIs that measure AI's capability to automate and streamline processes for optimization and so on and so forth. Establishing user adoption and satisfaction KPIs specific to these AI features. I would do that as well. And also establishing KPIs to track the AI's ability to generate actionable insights. So can it, how is it going? What insights are generated using the AI that we have now? So things like that. And then I think lastly, I would also set up feedback loops to continuously refine and improve these AI-related KPIs. So feedback loop mechanisms are super important to understand how is it going? Is there any optimization or improvement or refinement that is needed, and take it from there.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about these webinars is I'm not a product person. So I always view myself kind of as a user. And over the past few years, everything in my user experience feels like it's been kind of AI-ified and it's been added. And sometimes I feel like it takes away from my experience and I'm like, oh, it's too much AI. So I love the fact that you're taking into consideration, more than just how's it going, but what are our users saying? Are they liking it? Is it helping them? Is it distracting them? So that's great. And so, AI is great, but there are definitely challenges. So what are some of the main challenges that product managers face when implementing AI into their product processes or, as part of a product feature set, adding it into the product they own?
Yeah, I think that's a great question and an important one to address. I think product managers can face several challenges when implementing AI in product processes or even feature sets, if you will. I think the number one would be ensuring data quality and availability for AI model training, right? So I want to touch on data quality again because things are going to be automated. The AI is going to run on itself, and data quality is something that should be monitored. Second would be managing stakeholder expectations about AI capabilities. I think some people think it's like a magic wand that you can, just use to solve all problems, and that is not the case. You absolutely must know what customer problem or partner problem or business problem you're trying to solve for and take it from there and understand really what AI is capable of as a product in that space and managing expectations around that. Also, integrating AI seamlessly into existing product workflows is important. And that could be a challenge depending on what technology base or platform you might be using in current state as a PM. Also addressing privacy concerns and regulatory compliance. So let's not use things that the company doesn't allow. Let's adhere to the policies that the company you might be at as a PM might be using. And also, while you do that, you have to ensure that there is regulatory compliance around it. Also, there is dealing with this black box nature of some of the AI algorithms. Sometimes I think it's not very clear how the results are generated or the outcomes are generated, and whether that is based on specific sources, if there is any bias in place and things like that. So dealing with that black box nature and understanding and getting to the root of it might be something that a PM would face as they implement AI into their processes and feature sets, if you will. There is also the balancing, and I'm smiling as I say this, is balancing AI automation with human oversight and intervention. So I don't think, again, it's not a replacement. It should be supplemental to what we are already doing and helping us get more productive. So human oversight is very much here to stay and intervene, and balancing that out is important. Also ensuring that whatever AI you might be implementing in your processes, your feature sets, or entire products, if you will, ensure that these AI features are actually scalable and can perform well in different various conditions, right? What might work in one use case might not work in another use case, and thinking that through requires the PM to have that depth and the breadth to have thought through the strategy behind implementing that specific AI. So make sure that these AI features are scalable, otherwise it does become a challenge and should be a point of consideration before implementation, if you will. And also addressing potential biases in the AI outputs. So this actually goes back to that source. How is the outcome being generated, or how is that output being generated? What sources are being taken into account, and what biases come along as a result of that, right? Let's be very mindful of that, and that is definitely a challenge that PMs are going to face. Lastly, I do want to end with educating users and internal teams about AI capabilities and limitations. So one is managing stakeholder expectations of, hey, this is what AI is or not capable of doing. And the second is actually training our users and internal teams and bringing them on board and along on the journey of what AI capabilities and limitations might be. Because I think everybody needs to shift their lens a little bit and educate themselves on what is or not possible.
Yeah, for sure. And how would you mentioned you have to manage stakeholders' kind of expectations, but how would you recommend overcoming maybe resistance or skepticism within team stakeholders when adopting AI?
Absolutely. And I think I would take that last point that I made and continue on that for this one as well, meaning we got to educate our entire extended teams on what AI capabilities are and what are the limitations that come with it as well. I would also start small, right? Take a couple of use cases that might be high impact though. So take high impact projects and start small to demonstrate the value that AI can provide and take it from there. And if there are specific team members that are skeptical about AI, I would actually bring them along the journey from the very, very beginning as you implement AI, so that they can also become champions themselves. And in return, that resistance is a little eased.
Yeah, I love that idea of kind of, rather than like at the end, kind of scaring them with like, this is what we're doing, this is what we think it's going to, showing them kind of from the beginning, this is what, AI can do, and this is what we think it could do for us, and this is how we plan to. I think that would be really, really helpful and impactful for sure. And so, kind of looking forward, in your opinion, what does the future hold for the intersection of AI and product management?
Oh, so much. I think we're just getting started, Kenzie. We are just getting started. This is really the tip of the iceberg.
Mhm.
And I think there's so much more to come. The future of AI, especially in product management, is likely to include more sophisticated predictive analytics, as you can imagine, for product strategy. There would be increased automation of routine product management tasks, which I already see is happening by products like Canva, Product Board, and others, Notion. AI-driven personalization is becoming standard in product experiences, so that's definitely coming in the near future, if you will. Greater integration of AI in all stages of the product lifecycle. So including discovery, implementation, change management, it's about to come. And then AI assistants, as you've probably heard, are becoming common tools for product managers, and agentic AI is here as well. So all of that is going to take us into the future, like we see in the movies, really. And increased use of AI for rapid prototyping and testing is going to be enabled in the near future, I believe. And more complex and accurate user behavior modeling is also going to be enabled as a result of AI.
And so what would you kind of recommend to product managers now for what skills they need to stay relevant in or learn as we, kind of just keep going in the AI direction?
Absolutely. I can tell you where I started. Okay. So go on social media, use LinkedIn, all your any favorite social media platform that you spend hours on, and use hashtags that are relevant to AI to acclimate yourself and familiarize yourself with what is the latest and greatest that is coming out from, say, ChatGPT, OpenAI. That is like the very first phase zero, if you will, I would suggest for everybody to do. But also beyond that, as you go past that inception phase, if you will, or phase zero of understanding the AI driven landscape, I would start getting basic understanding of AI and machine learning concepts, like what are LLMs? Understanding how are LLMs built? How are they run? How much does it cost to run? And things like that. Also, data literacy and ability to work with large data sets is also important, and understanding the ethical AI knowledge and ability to address AI biases. So what sources are being used? Are they ethical? Is what biases could be in place if you use a certain tool versus another, and things like that, and being aware around that is important. Um, Also expertise in managing AI driven product development processes. So it's not just going to be the implementation part in the product life cycle. Imagine the product life cycle is not just going to be the development part that's going to be impacted through AI. It's going to be the discovery phase. It's going to be the change management phase. It's going to be the enablement part. All of that is going to have, it's going to be AI driven, the whole landscape, the entire product life cycle. So I would think of all the skills. Please note that there are a lot of free courses out there right now. I think you can easily go to any of those popular, course learning management platform systems, if you will, and take a few courses on AI in product management to get started and acclimate yourself to that. I would definitely keep a continuous learning mindset to keep up with these AI and advancements. I think nobody knows it all. It's all developing live and real time as we speak. And so we all need to stay apprised, no matter where we are in that journey.
Yeah, of course. There's always we even here have like an AI channel just in Slack where people will drop tweets or YouTube videos that they stumble upon, because it's just, for one, it's very interesting. It's like a whole new tech frontier. But yeah, just to stay abreast with what's coming out, what's available, how can we leverage it, is always important. And so as an advocate for WOC and POC in tech, how do you see AI influencing diversity and inclusion in product management?
This one is close to me, Kenzie. I think AI can influence diversity and inclusion and equity in product management in several different ways. I want to start by bias, obviously. So reducing human bias in hiring and promotion processes, for example, can be aided. Enabling more inclusive product design through diverse data sets, is a way to influence by AI. And then providing tools for identifying and addressing biases in product development, creating opportunities for underrepresented groups to develop AI expertise, and then offering new career paths actually in AI ethics and responsible AI development could be awesome ways that AI can influence DEI in product management.
Yeah, I think that's great. It definitely has so many opportunities, because even, it doesn't matter who it is or if there's multiple people in the room, there's always subconscious bias. And so that's super helpful. And I think, you hit the nail on the head with everything it's going to be able to help improve and accomplish in the, not only, the tech environment, but across the entire kind of workplace. So that's
Absolutely
great. And as we kind of wrap up on time today, it looks like we've got a question in the chat. And so they asked, have you observed an over-reliance on AI tools in the industry? And what are some of the potential consequences of excessive AI usage?
I love that question, actually, and thank you for asking that. I believe that is a very important topic to cover. I do see some areas where there is over-reliance on AI tools. Hey, let me put that in ChatGPT. Let me put that in Perplexity Pro and see what they tell me, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're talking about. Let's not use our human brains for, where it is needed. And I think that's a risk. That's a risk. That's over-reliance, and we need to be very wary of that. I think data literacy is where I would start, understanding and grounding yourself on what ethical AI means. How are these companies making sure that responsible and ethical AI is being used is super important to make yourself aware about. And also, it's a learning curve for everybody right now. Everybody is learning as they adopt AI more and more. So making sure that we know what the underlying biases are for that specific tool, AI tool or model that might be being used or being adapted is important to understand, like what are the potential biases, because that would then result in potential biases in the AI outputs, if you will. So it's very important to know those and acknowledge those and make sure that everybody around who is going to be users are going to know about that as they, use that AI capability, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. And, the more, you don't want AI to take away your creativity either at some point. So it's important to still, be you and have the ideas that you have while just using AI as a helper, as we've said many, many times today. But that is it for time today. And again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everyone who has attended live. This was such an important session. It's what everyone's talking about right now, and you provided some amazing insights. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Kenzie. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Of course. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, everyone.